This is Keri Kardashian, and I'm chatting with Staxx.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Ken.
And so the dog would be walking around my cousin's house, gathering all this information. And listen to this though. My father was living with my cousin at the time, and she was dating a pagan. So there was constant pagan activity going on in that house. You know what I'm saying? So the dog would record this audio, and nobody knew. Nobody knew.
How did they? Is that legal for them to put an audio chip in a dog?
I don't know. I don't know those. I don't know those type of things. I don't.
That's insane. I've never
Yeah.
heard nothing like that before.
Yeah, that's what my cousin told me, I mean, she don't lie. Like I said, she's got way more experience, with a little bit more in detail than I probably could. I'm speaking from my father's daughter's point of view, from my own experience.
So, can you walk me through when you met Ken Croak? When you did you hear about him before you met him?
Yeah, I heard my father over like I overheard my father talking to somebody, whether I don't know who he was talking to, but vaguely I remember him um questioning, this new person that's coming in. Um and then, a couple people were iffy about him. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I witnessed that myself. I just can't remember what was said, but definitely back and forth conversation about Ken being a little iffy and you know. But other than that, just him having money, my cousin talking about this guy with muscles, and she felt the same way. Like he was too, we grew up with old school one percenters. They always had dirt and oil embedded in their nails. Doesn't matter what kind of solution you used to get it off, it was just there. And it was just certain mannerisms of an old percent, like an old school one percenter. And we didn't get any of that from him. We just didn't get an inkling of it from him. He was just so. Now, mind you, a lot of these one percenters nowadays are looking more like him. They're clean cut, they got like professional tattooing, clean nails, they get manicures, bougie and cologne, smell good, all that shit, shower before they come out. It was none of that back in the day. These old men would roll out of bed, oily and stinky, get their cut on and be out, like type. So that's what me and my cousin were used to. And then when Ken came into the picture, it was something we just didn't get any of that from him. And like I said, we brought it to roadblock in my dad's attention, and we were told that it was taken care of, like it was being taken care of. So we minded our business from there. And then the next thing Ken is walking into a kitchen where my dad is living at the time. And I was able to see for myself. He walked in, he smelled good, he was clean cut, he had some professional tattooing, and some of them did have professional tattooing, but a lot of them old men did time. They got a lot of prison tattoos, and you could tell the difference. And he didn't have any of those. And he sat down, and I looked at his hands, and I'm just looking, and I'm just like, something's not right with him. I just got like I wanted to throw up. Like I was nervous. I was nervous around him. Like I got a nervous feeling. And I mean, the moment he left, yeah, sitting at the table with even the roommates, I even said, Dad, he's a cop. And that's when he said, relax, we're going to take care of it. Obviously, he couldn't go into detail about what they were doing. And I learned later on what they did to test him, but I didn't know at the time.
Can you explain what they did to test him? Walk me through what it was.
Okay, well, as far as I read, I mean, it's on Google, you can Google it. I guess they had like a fake dead body. Maybe they had different things. They had like different things in like maybe like meat, different pieces of items of clothing, boots, something heavy and smelly, or maybe I don't know, but it was like went into detail in the description in the article. And I guess they took him upstate to bury what they had him thinking was a dead body. And they in their mind, if he went through with it, he wasn't a cop. It was some old school, right? And so I guess training in that field of work is a lot different throughout the years. I'm sure they have updated training and are able to do different things for different reasons. And so maybe, and that was my thinking, maybe these men just weren't thinking, you know, but Ken did it. He buried what he thought was a dead body. And then later on, when everything hit the fan, they went back upstate to dig it up. And apparently maybe there was a note in there or something that said "ha ha," or it was something to that effect. It was like something like they knew when they were like, "Oh," like they were pissed off that they couldn't use that against them. You know what
They
I'm
thought
saying?
that was
So
the nail in their coffins, basically, right?
yeah, they thought that was like going to be an instant like, boom, y'all are done. But no, it wasn't, and they couldn't use any of that.
Do you know how long after they did that everyone got arrested?
I think they had gotten arrested during that or be right before that. Like I think that was part of the immediate investigation. You know, like they started locking them up because you got to remember they locked up many different members. I believe they locked up members from Maryland, like all different places. So as this is all going on, I believe part of their investigation was going upstate and digging up that fake dead body. Well, which they found out to be, anyways.
They did the opposite of what the Lou Dobkins investigation did, right? The Lou Dobkins investigation, the police had a fake dead body, pretended like it was this motorcycle club member, and they brought that back to the club. But in this situation, it's the club guys that put a fake dead body and pretend if he's a cop, he's not going to do this, but he went through with it. So they figured he might as well, maybe he's good, right?
Yeah, that was their thought process after that. Yeah. Hmm. Or else why would he still be patched in? Like I feel like they just would have, taken care of business once he was like, nah, like he wouldn't have been able to do that. If you're an undercover cop and you're in front of a whole crew of people waiting for you to prove yourself, you're not just gonna be like, oh, jigs up. So what do you do in that situation? He had to do his job. I suppose he had to still act like a one percenter and do what he was up there to do.
Do you meet him while he's a full patch member?
I can't remember at that time if he was prospecting or he was already full patched in, honestly. If I can guesstimate the time frame, I would say maybe it was the beginning stages of him, like maybe just weeks after he was patched in, because I just remember hearing about him and I know that it didn't take long for him to become patched in as far as I remember.
Tell me about when they round everybody up. So tell me how you found out and then what you hear happened.
Well, first there was a different situation going on. My father had just gotten into a motorcycle accident, had to have his spleen taken out. So when he woke up from the hospital, he was shackled to the bed.
Tell me about the motorcycle accident. How did that happen?
I wasn't living with my father at the time, but I would go visit him and my cousin spend the weekend. And I was supposed to go there that weekend. And my cousin messaged me or called me and said, Uncle Kenny got into a bad accident. So I remember Roadblock going up there in his cut, a big tough guy, going into the hospital with those couple of other pagans going to visit him. And I went there to visit him and he had to have his spleen taken out. So the motorcycle accident, I believe, my dad was getting older. You know what I mean? So I feel like he probably like slipped or maybe hit. I don't know what happened, to be honest. I just heard that he was in there and ran right up in there. But he winded up getting shackled to the bed because I had left, and then it all happened days or I can't remember so long ago. I know that I went to visit him, and then it happened after that. So Jason got locked up. Whoever he went to the hospital with got locked up already. And my dad, like I said, he just woke up one day and he was shackled to the bed.
So they're just picking them off like dominoes, basically.
Yeah, and then it's on channel 12. I didn't even think, like I just knew right away that's what it was from. I knew it. I was like, Ken. I said, Ken Croak. I knew it. I just knew it.
Instantly. How long before they get locked up is the whole Hellraiser ball thing?
The Hellraiser Ball, I believe, was way before this raid.
So Ken wasn't
Um,
around for that, right?
no, no. That's that's actually something that my dad's big brother did time for. My dad wasn't there. It was his big brother that was there. He actually did, believe, over a decade for that. Over a decade.
So he got over 10 years for that?
I believe he went away for a very long time. Because I remember when he got arrested, that's when the family kind of dissipated from each other. We all stopped like having like family get-togethers, barbecue, pig roast, you know, everything. Everything. I went into the foster care system, like everything just kind of like, I don't know, just went away when he got arrested, and he was gone for a really long time.
So before that, do you remember anything before that? Like with your family, they were really tight and they used to have pig roast all the time and
Oh
everything?
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Like the family wasn't, it's definitely dysfunctional shit, drugs, violence, but some people fail to realize that, through all that, there's this bond behind that, like something like, like let's say, Bill, if you were my brother and I'm fucking with you, you know what I'm saying? Like making fun of you, punching on you, but I'm not going to let nobody else do that.
Yeah.
Like that was our type of, like, we could fuck with each other, but if anybody else fucked with you, it's up and it's stuck type shit. So we had a really strong bond, constant barbecues, get-togethers. I mean, was there drunk fights and shootouts and all kinds of fucking crazy shit? Hell yeah, but a lot of it was great memories too, like, so that, and then I went into foster care. My uncle got locked up from the Hellraisers Ball. Unfortunately, moving forward, my mother overdosed on drugs. My father got locked up in the raid, and then Ken wrote a book, and then here we are.
Ken writes the book. Is your father in prison when he writes the book?
I can't tell you because, I mean, for all I know, Ken could have, like, okay, so did you read the book?
No, but I read the little parts of it.
Bill, me and you are gonna fight. You gotta read the book because at the end of the book, right? Ken said that he was on a ride and he got a phone call, and not this isn't verbatim, but from what I remember, bit and piece by is him saying to whoever called, it was a pagan that called him, like, I knew you were a fucking pig. And then Ken would go on to say, yeah, wait until the book. So I personally feel like he started right away. I mean, the moment he can put pen to paper and just sit down and be in solitude, that he was going to start writing this book. Now, when he decided to get it published was after my father passed away. So I
Oh,
can't
so you're,
say for sure
yeah.
when he started writing it, but I feel like he started right away, especially from reading that part of the end of the book where he said that, wait till the book.
I wonder if I can review it online. Like I
You should.
can I do
There has been
videos
many, many
about it?
reviews on it, but I'm going to tell you something. I hope I could say this. If not, you're going to have to edit it out. A lot of these book reviewers are writers. Writers. They are writing Ken's private area, like,
But you know
all the
I'm not
way.
like that. I
No,
see
not
both
you.
sides of the
This is why I
fence.
said I would love for you to do a review because I know you're going to be 100% raw and uncut. But the rest of them, I've watched dozens. I would say there's at least over a dozen reviewers, podcasters, whether it be biker content or book content, that they're just on his, like, they're just like, you know what I'm
And
saying? Like, straight up.
I invited him to come on and he denied it. I'm
Declined. Of
I'm
course
gonna
he did.
still see if he will come on and I will hit him with the facts of the things that you have said and see what he
Hmm.
has to say about it. I
He's
really would
not
like to
going to
know.
because he's seen our content together. He's seen my personal content. He's seen all of that. Trust and believe he sat down and watched all of that. So he's definitely not going to come out in public and debate any of that because why? I wish you would.